Welcome, I'm Josh Strife, and this is Session Zero, a tabletop role-playing group focused on fantasy and adventure. This is part 2 of the campaign The Aether Heart of Albion, titled The Power of Aether. Let's meet our players first of all.
Hi, I am Callum Upton, playing the bard Mullac Drab. I am a relic hunter and I am in a city full of tech and I feel at home.
Hello, I'm Rage Darling, and I play a character called Rage, who is a human barbarian. And that's the only way you're going to differentiate yourself from me, because this is kind of what I'm like. So, yeah, let's smash things and see where we go.
That could be really interesting for the rest of this episode. Hi, I'm Billie, also known as Yemmara Trixx. And once again, hopefully, I'm going to have some tricks up my sleeve that I don't have. I'm sticking with the joke.
In the previous episode, our party left the safety of the tavern, travelled through the forest, and were attacked by bandits on the way. Fighting off the bandits, they then stole the bandits' incredibly powerful magical weapons, arriving at the city of Albion in time for the annual Albion Extravaganza, a tech show. The enforcers, the guards of the city of Albion, noticed that our party were carrying the tech Albion weapons and thanked them for returning them and recovering them. Our party have been taken through the technologically advanced city of magic and are currently waiting in the tavern known as the Heart and Hearth. The lead enforcer, Augustus, and the head of city defense, Athena, both incredibly powerful warriors wearing mech suits enhancing their power, have promised our party a tour around the city. But for the time being, Augustus and Athena have been called away on brief business, leaving our party in the tavern on their own for a short time. The tavern itself is packed, absolutely packed. There are so many punters and so many members of staff and so many people serving so many different kinds of drinks and food. And the drinks aren't all coming in regular flagons. Some of them are in silver cups, some of them in glassware, some of them in metal bowls, some of them delivered via pipes straight to the person's table. Just dropping into a bowl there. There are wires, there's metal, there's pipes, there's pistons, there's cogs, there's gears. The city is driven by the invisible power of pure magical energy known as Aether. This tavern is much busier than any tavern you've been in before. Mullac, you're a bit of a gambler, so how's this tavern suiting you?
It's looking quite promising for some, events later on. It's a bit. I feel like I'm in a bit of a charity shop, some sort of antique shop. There's too much to take in. There's too many different styles, and I'm just walking through here with my cloak just covered in guts still.
As soon as you walked in, Augustus and Athena, the two enforcers that were with you when you entered, noticed that you were covered in blood, guts, and viscera, and they didn't ask too many questions, because in this city, you don't. Augustus did, however, have a quick word with the barman and has agreed that you are able to go upstairs and use one of the bathrooms to effectively clean yourself off and maybe get changed into a fresh set of clothes if you have any with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much in the way of fresh clothes, but that cloak, now that it's just, got holes shot through it, covered in guts, I just take that off and kind of like throw it in a pile in the corner.
Augustus, while he was with you, walked up to the barman and pointed at you, and then the two enforcers themselves left. And the barman walked over to you and went, "Hello, I've been told by the enforcers that you need to clean yourself off."
Yeah, I'm a bit gutty.
Excellent. If you head through and up the stairs to the third floor, you'll find a few showers and a few bathrooms if you want to make use of the facilities, and then just head down whenever you're ready.
Perfect, thank you. I'd start walking upstairs to go and pour an ice bath.
Excellent. The barman returns to the bar and continues to pour some pints. The pouring of the pints, though, is a bit different. It's not just one kind of pull for the pint. As he pulls multiple pipes, all work at the same time, pouring multiple at the same time. It's very, very efficient. You've not seen this in a bar before.
No, normally I'm queuing for like a good 20 minutes to get my drink. We need this back at home.
Angharage,
Yes.
you were intrigued by the enforcers when they were here. In fact, Augustus even agreed to maybe find time to let you fight one of the enforcers later on, as they could see that you were physically powerful. Augustus and Athena themselves called off on business right now, but how are you finding a city guarded by people in mech suits?
It's very exciting because, like, you can see the people that's inside the mech suit, and they're all, like, big and strong like me. And it just reminds me of home, because that's kind of what everyone was like back then. But I'm intrigued by the barman's, like, pulling of the beers and stuff, and I'd like to ask for a beer. or whatever the drink is.
The barman has just shown Mullac Drab to where the stairs are, so you can go and get changed and wipe the blood all off you. And as he goes back toward the bar, he serves a few more patrons and then sees over to you. Hello there.
Hi. Can I have whatever that is?
The what?
The drink.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes. Yeah, which one would you like?
What have you got?
Anything you need. Anything you can think of. Anything behind me. There are various shapes of bottles, various colors, various sizes, and lots of different names of beer that you've never heard before.
Is there like a purple juice called like a fruit juice?
Oh, yeah, we can get you some of that. Would you like it alcoholic or not?
Yeah.
He presses a button underneath the bar, and one of the bottles themselves, via a system of pulleys, gears, and cogs, is simply jerked forward, slid across a metal rail, pours itself out into a cup, and then thrown back in. The cup is almost propelled down by a small leather conveyor belt underneath it. He takes it and passes it over to you. It's just 1 copper, please.
Sure. And I go into my little pouch and just kind of the small pouch of gold coins and just take out a gold coin because I don't really know the difference.
Oh, right. For that, you get the bottle. He just picks the bottle off and passes it over to you.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
It's excellent. No problem at all. Thanks. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
While all this is happening, the old man in the corner is just staring over at you and kind of shaking his head. As soon as the button was pressed and the tech started, you could see the old man almost wince at the complexity of what was going on. He hasn't engaged you yet, but he's annoyed at the tavern itself, it seems.
Do we see that?
Just about. You feel and you notice that he's staring at you, but he's not done anything to come and annoy you personally yet. Yemmara.
What is he staring at? If he keeps looking at me, I'm going to go over there.
Yeah, I know. He keeps staring, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Like he's
but
got a problem.
Maybe he likes Callum.
Oh, maybe. Do you think he's kind of like...
Mullac is currently upstairs. I don't know who Callum is, but Mullac is currently upstairs, washing the blood off his cloak and effectively getting changed. Still in this bar, the patrons, the old man in the corner, the grumpy old man, and standing by the front door, the enforcer that you met when you originally entered the bar, the one with the incredibly melted face, skin almost bonded into the suit itself, a body disfigured to a point of almost looking part machine itself. The one that Augustus put his hand and said, "That's enough, Timothy," and pushed him to the side. So this melted, disfigured enforcer, clearly called Timothy, hasn't yet said anything to you, but has kept a close eye on all of you while you're here.
Can I have some of your drink? What is that?
It's a fruit juice, and it's shooted from the walls and the pipes.
What does it smell like?
Purple.
What does purple smell
You ever
like?
smelled a smell and just went, "Oh, that's purple, that is right there. That is definitely purple." It's
Whoa.
sweet. It's berries, it's sugar, it's gentle fermented alcohol, and it's very, very faintly magical.
Okay.
Everything in this city
I'm going to
is...
try a bit.
Okay.
What does it taste like?
Just a little bit, though. Not a lot. Yep. How's it? Good?
This is alcoholic. You shouldn't have too much of this, you know.
Give it back.
No.
I paid for it!
You've got the bottle.
Yeah, but... thank you. Thank
Everything
you.
in this city is slightly magical, due to everything being created through the use of the absolute abundance of aether that they somehow have. It permeates itself into the food, into the drink, into the very wood and metal and steel and wires and copper itself the city is built of. You feel more by being here. You feel enhanced. You feel stronger. The pull of magic around you. You feel almost a little bit oppressed by this constant unnatural vibe of magic pushing
Yes.
at you.
I'd like to drink the entire thing.
Roll a d20.
6.
Your barbarian resolve isn't quite enough to prevent you
Oh.
getting a little bit drunk from this, and it was much stronger than you anticipated it being. So you will be a little bit tipsy the rest of it. And as you down it, you almost hear the old man in the corner scoff at it and then go back to drinking his own beer.
What is your problem?
I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm sorry, who are you? You keep staring at me. Me and my friends.
Just want a simple drink, and you press the button and the levers and the technology all happens, and it just... wood, metal,
Yeah.
simple natural things.
I'm the same. Isn't it weird? Like all these buzzy things and the blue stuff and the smelly things and the just like Yeah.
It's too much.
I know.
The city used to be a lot simpler.
Really? Why? What happened?
You're
When
not from
did-
around here, are you?
Nope.
I'm Jenkins. He extends his hand and goes to shake yours.
I'm Rach.
He grabs his hand, and the man is strong. Old and decrepit, but strong for his age. He grabs your hand, and it's a strong, solid handshake. You sit down and you begin to talk to old man Jenkins about the good old days, before the city was full of aether, before it was magical. He tells you that the city has been around for about 30 years now, and when they discovered the power of aether, it grew. More people were attracted. Buildings were, pushed up, but he was never too bothered about this. He lives off to the side of the city, in what many will consider to be the junkyard, although he doesn't open up to you too much about why he's annoyed at this point, why he's irritated. Although you can tell every time an enforcer walks by, every time a button is pressed, anytime the hum of magical energy is around, he winces at it. He looks over and he seems irritated. Yemmara, how are you doing?
How tipsy are you?
Kind of wavy, not gonna lie.
I'm gonna just support her.
Yeah.
Is this your first time? Is this your first time really drinking? I know we had a beer last week, but
Yeah. Yeah, this is first time.
great.
It's
That's gonna be really fun tomorrow.
Have you walked over to join Angharage and Old Man Jenkins?
Yeah.
As you sit down, he kind of looks at you. Another magic user, is it?
I'm sorry. Is it the pointy ears?
That's okay. I forgive you for being sorry. I don't care if you're an elf at all. I just care that you're not a big fan of magic.
Well, what is this place? I've never seen anything like this before.
Well, the city or the tavern you're in?
The city.
City of Albion. What do you want to know?
What's actually happening with this extravaganza anyway?
30 years ago, this place was a little tiny village in the middle of nowhere. Then they discovered aether.
Who discovered aether?
First people that settled here. I think Augustus was one of them. Athena, she's been around for a while. Everyone else that was here originally has disappeared or gone or left, but those two are probably the originals. And then everyone moved in. I moved in. Me and my daughter.
Your daughter?
He goes a little bit quiet when you mention that. Roll a d20.
15.
Helena. She went missing 5 years ago. 5 years ago tomorrow, actually.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I'm sure you didn't do it.
Well, we're not from around here, so definitely not.
He
This
looks at
is
you when you
all
say
new
that.
to me.
No, you aren't. You aren't from around here. I need to go. He stands up, thanks you for talking to him, and walks out the door. As he does walk out the door, Augustus and Athena walk back in. Mech suits stomping, magical energy spraying from the pistons every time a move happens, and Old Man Jenkins stares with hatred at Augustus. And Augustus simply smiles, a cocky, arrogant smile back, and Old Man Jenkins leaves. Timothy in the corner almost staring and almost not reacting to this entire event of people crossing and emotions being frayed. Augustus and Athena walk over to you two. Right. I see you've met old crotchety Jenkins.
We're just mixing with the locals. It seems like a nice place.
Yes, not exactly a local. You should probably avoid him. One of the riffraff, should we say.
Well, I'd normally agree with you. He's very polite.
Ah, yeah, he'll do that way, until he wants something from you. Lives in the junkyard to the north. Best to avoid him.
It's kind of like while you're conversing, just kind of like want to touch the suit. Kind of.
Okay. Augustus is noticing that you're doing this and doesn't seem too bothered about it. He knows he'd be able to react fast enough in case you tried to do anything, but you can feel the magical hum of energy almost seeping into your fingers when you touch it. You can feel almost a level of your own humanity being transferred in and out and in and out. Energy going in and out. It's powerful, whatever this is.
Can I quickly reach for his weapon?
Yes, roll a d20.
2.
2. You reach for his weapon. The next thing you know, you open your eyes and you are in the corner of the bar. Tables are scattered around, chairs are smashed, and your back and shoulder are absolutely throbbing with pain. You just about manage to look around and you see that your knee is bending in a way that it should not be bending to the side, having tumbled you through. Augustus hasn't moved much. He turns his head to look at you, and his arm is outstretched. But you've noticed that all he's done, effectively in the split second it took him, was grab you and throw you to the side with a flick of his wrist. He didn't engage his legs, his core, his chest, or his shoulders. It was literally a grab and a flick, and you have been thrown directly through the air and crumpled into the corner in pain. Please don't do that. If you want to fight an enforcer, we can arrange someone to fight you, but don't do that.
No, sorry, it was just really cool. I just wanted to see your reaction. That's all.
I understand the desire to challenge us, but
Ow.
I need you to understand that the city is protected because we can do this.
Yeah.
You're not from round here, so I'll
No.
forgive you this once.
Okay. Thanks.
You've both had one chance to see. Let's not test it again, shall we?
So what is it you're exactly stopping people from doing? I don't think most people around here are going to be harmful.
Oh, they won't because we're here. The city's perfect. Allow us to show you around as a thanks for returning the weapons to us.
I kind of can't move my leg.
Come over to you.
It's bent, right?
It's bent in a way it shouldn't be, but you're able to pretty much push it back into place with a great deal of pain.
Where the hell is Mullac?
Mullac, how are you doing?
I am having a whale of a time. I've run a nice hot bath. I've been doing the making swirly whirlpools with my finger. I've not managed to resist the urge to put my toe in the tap. Got stuck. But no, I've had a great time.
There
I'm
was some
nice and-
soap, bubbles, the whole thing.
I've overflowed the bath with bubbles. I left it to run too long while I was messing about with the clothes.
When you got out, you had a towel wrapped around your head, a towel wrapped around you as well.
Yeah, no, I've just had the best time. But
And-
I'm dressed again now, nice and clean.
Fresh-faced and ready.
Yeah, ready to hit the
And
deck.
you head down the steps. You head down the steps just in time to see Old Man Jenkins, crotchety, angry, annoyed Old Man Jenkins, leave the Heart and Half and cross paths with Augustus and Athena, and that horrible staring contest happen between both of them. You see Timothy over in the corner not react to almost any of this, and then the next thing you know was Angharage being flung across the actual tavern itself and smashing into the corner and rolling down, and then Augustus looking over almost nonchalantly, being like, please don't.
The hell have you guys been doing? I've been gone for like 20 minutes. Why are you on the floor?
Yeah, I want to pick myself back up and just kind of hobble on my leg a little bit. I just wanted to see how quick he could react, and he's kind of mean.
While you're discussing, Athena slowly walks over to you and looks you up and down. You're a noble, aren't you?
Was it to you? But yes.
And a sorceress.
Yes, I do dabble in magic.
Do you still use a staff or a focus? You hold your staff up. That's adorable. She turns and walks out the door after saying that to you.
I'm going to slap her.
Augustus strides up to all of you. Right. I would like to show you around our city. I only have about 20 minutes, but I can show you the basics as thanks for returning the items. I'll even show you what we're going to do with them. And then you can explore the carnival. You can enjoy the extravaganza. It's only on for a day or two, but tomorrow is the extravaganza itself.
Come on, Ray.
Ow.
You're in pain.
Uh.
That's exactly why we built these. I mean, I'd probably beat you without it, but let me show you everything else.
Oh, really?
Augustus walks out the door.
Freaking fine.
I think you've met your match here.
What?
I think you've met your match here.
Didn't expect them to be so quick. Okay.
Yemmara, are you willing to walk out the tavern and follow them as well? Old Man
Yeah.
Jenkins is already gone.
I'm going to come out last.
You all leave the tavern. The city outside is bustling, the streets filled with people wearing various types of clothing and attires, some people trying to sell things, everything from old technology to new technology, the hum of magic and the spray of blue aether in the sky. Augustus is simply standing there, hands on hips in this giant mech suit, and Athena is standing petitely and carefully and calmly next to him, waiting. And as you walk out, right, where would you like to go first? Or if you've never been here, maybe I can show you one of the most impressive parts of the city.
What do you know about the Heart of Albion?
That's what I was going to show you first.
Oh, nice.
Augustus turns and strides off down the street, beckoning for you all to follow. You'd have to run or jog to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'm doing like a little sprint.
I hobble.
I'm going to just help you.
Luckily, the
coming on.
alcohol means that I don't really feel much
Yeah.
right now. But
While walking through the streets, Augustus is turning around and shouting the tour guide information to you as you go. Albion was founded roughly 30 years ago, once we discovered an almost endless supply of aether. Myself and Athena here were two of the first people to come down, and we've been building it ever since. Athena turns around and just smirks at you as she said this, clearly loving the fact that she is much more known and powerful. People in the streets are almost moving out of the way as Augustus strides down, a strange combination you can tell of respect and fear. The other enforcers that you do pass are stepping aside and almost bowing their heads slightly, not in a royalty way, but in a respect the boss kind of way. Augustus strides down. After discovering the endless supply of aether, we were able to expand far quickly than most cities were, to build buildings, weapons, defenses, education, support, infrastructure. We're the most advanced city in all of the land. Every few years, we do a extravaganza to show what aether built. 5 years ago, I'd say, was our crowning achievement. And he looks up at the Sentinel, hovering ominously above the city itself. A Sentinel airship. Impressive, isn't she?
It's amazing.
Have you ever had to use it?
The Sentinel has many uses. Air defense, ground defense, transport, infrastructure. That's a light system if it needs to be. It's only ever fired its air defense weapons once, and that was only to prove that it has them. It was a fun day. I enjoyed that day.
what's inside?
Magic. Pipes. Some holds for a few staff members if we need them. Mostly ammunition. Aether storage. Aether doesn't last too long once it's taken out of the ground, so we store it in large vats, banks of coiled metal wires. Stores it long enough to fly. Then it lands, refuels, and flies again. Refuels once every 4 or 5 days. Refueled yesterday. It's good to go for the next couple of days.
Can we go in?
Absolutely not.
Please.
I appreciate you asking, and it is incredibly impressive, but no, the inside of the Sentinel is a closely guarded secret for exactly how it works. We occasionally do let royalty, nobility, have a look, but that's invite only. And with the extravaganza going on, we definitely don't have enough spaces or people to escort you. Once we're done, though, I'll see what we can swing.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Thank you.
Right, onto the heart.
Yes.
Augustus turns and bounds through the city, almost excited to show you this. They get a lot of visitors, but Augustus doesn't normally get a chance to show off as much as he's showing off now, and he's reveling in the fact that he can. Athena almost appreciates the fact she's just being brought along for the ride. Augustus is much too important, effectively, to talk the average person, but they're still very appreciative that you've brought the weapons back. It's about power, and you've given the power back to them, and therefore they owe you for that. Augustus bounds around the city, turning left and right through the various streets, and you pass shops selling everything from magical equipment to magically enhanced weapons to magically enhanced instruments. Everything you can imagine infused with aether, until eventually you turn around and see a compound in the heart of the city itself. Large, circular, a concrete mound with a single metal door, a big barrier, effectively leading to steps down. You must assume they go down. There's nowhere else they can go to. It's not a tall building. It's simply a bunker, surrounded by metal fences and rows of enforcers. And as you stand and look, Augustus turns and proudly exclaims to you, "This is the heart of Albion, the birthplace of all of the aether that's built the city around you. Below us, a technical marvel of science, of magic, of mankind's power over reality and adversity. And out of here," he points to all of the pipes and the wires that surround you, flowing up from the ground into the various buildings, "pure aether, which we harness and build." The aether flows into the blacksmith's shop, and you can see it's powering an automatic hammer. It flows into the baker's, and you can see it's keeping the ovens warm. It flows into the armorer's, and you can see that it's powering a system of chains and pulleys, moving plates and breast mail and chainmail everywhere that it could possibly be. It flows into the schools, and you can see that it's writing books using automated pens. Aether is powering everything in the city, and it all comes from the bunker in front of you. Impressive, isn't it?
Very. What's actually in there, though? Like, what's causing the aether?
Do you want the actual answer, or do you want one of the more fun legends?
I don't know. I want both now.
The legends. Myths were grown from it. Some people say it's a god. Some people say it's a perpetual motion machine. Others say it's a tear in reality, a rip to another space. People make up these things because, honestly, it's just more interesting than the truth. The truth is, it's simply a series of pipes, tubes, gears, cogs, wheels, and pulleys that generates more energy than we put into it. It's not exactly the most fun thing to have a look, but coal, wood, fire, oil, anything we can burn, it creates more and pumps it back out as energy. Unfortunately, the only people allowed to go and maintain it are myself and Athena and one or two of the chosen enforcers. But we don't want the technology stolen, you see.
Makes sense.
Can I go look?
Unfortunately not. The Aether Heart of Albion is one of our closely guarded secrets. Invite only, and I don't have any more invites left to give.
Please?
As much as you say please, I have to say no and insist. But this is where it all comes from. I must ask, respectfully, that you do not attempt to get in. Unfortunately, trespass will be met with death. I must stress the seriousness of this.
No entry, that's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Unfortunately, myself and Athena are now having to be taken away for more important matters, but enjoy the city. The carnival will start in a few minutes' time. I'm sure you'll be able to find some of the new inventions. And if you head down to the battle ring right now, I'll find you an enforcer to fight. In fact, I've got time.
Yes! Can I fight you?
You can try.
In the suit?
Absolutely. Augustus bounds off through the city, followed by Athena, but you notice she's not running. She's not even walking. She's actually focusing her hands out to the side, and her body is lifted slightly off the floor, and beneath her feet, an almost purple disk of energy carrying her quickly over the ground. Her mastery over manipulation of aether, especially so close to the heart of whatever's creating it, is allowing her to congeal it together and manipulate almost reality itself at this point. And she simply flies down the streets. The carnival, you hear, has started. Over in the distance, you see in the sky a blue spurt of energy, purple from somewhere else, yellow and red from other places, and people begin to open up shops. Market stalls open. Caravans open up their side, and they're selling various wares and goods and food, and the cacophony of noise almost begins to rise as you are in the center of the heart of Albion right now. The city is open to you, and you can go and explore. Augustus has agreed to fight you. Athena thinks it's cute that you use a stick of magic still. And every shop is looking at you and realizing you've probably got some coins on you. The city is open. Mullac,
Yes.
where would you like to go? What would you like to look at? What would you like to find?
I want to go and look at the instrument store.
The instrument store.
Yeah, I want to see what magic they got there.
You push through the crowds and around. Are you staying as a group, or are you breaking off into doing your own individual things for this?
Well, if he's bolted to go and fight, does that mean I gotta go now, or can I wait?
You can lead the group and go off and explore the city if you want to.
We can meet you there if you'd like.
Yeah, okay.
You agree to break apart and go and explore the city and see what there is. Mullac, you walk into one of the, effectively, instrument shops. You can see inside there is a piano playing itself. There is a lute over in the corner, but every single string seems to have an almost thread of magical energy running around it as it goes down. Various things, flutes, drums, more cymbals on the side, a little triangle, but every time someone hits it, it's almost echoingly loud in this room. As you walk in, the proprietor says to you, "Good morning.
Good morning.
What are you after today?"
Well, I'm looking for an upgrade from this bad boy.
Well, I think anything would be an upgrade from that bad boy.
What flutes have you got?
Can you afford them?
We'll find out.
Why don't you show me what you've got on you first, and then we'll have a look if it's worth my time to get them off the shelf.
I rummaged through my pockets trying to find what I actually won last night. I'll pull out about like 10 gold pieces.
Roll a d20.
9.
A little bit of fluff comes out as well, a little
Yeah,
bit of lint in
lint.
general. You still have a coin pouch. That's adorable. Okay, right. You'll want the children's section. He walks off to the back of the store, and when he comes back, opens a little wooden box with some small flutes that you can tell are humming with magical energy. Much simpler. You don't need to learn to do anything with these.
Guess that puts me out of a job. Have you got like a trade-in on these?
Why would I want that? It's covered in blood. Also, it's made of wood, and it doesn't seem magical in the slightest. Look, you're not from round here, are you? Okay. Effort, time, skill, all these things, you don't need them anymore. Watch. He picks up one of the flutes and blows into it. And without covering any of the holes, without doing anything, it makes a beautiful melody. A lovely tune, rising and falling, pitching up and down, and then simply takes it out of his mouth. Aether does it all for you.
I really want one of those.
Well, maybe you should go and get a job that allows you to afford one.
Well, I can't anymore because the piano's bloody playing itself.
Exactly. None of your skills are useful in this city. I'd like to ask you to leave now.
I flick my flute at him as I walk out the door.
Turns out that the power of Aether is able to replace a great deal of skill that most people would have had. And as you look around, you realize this is applying everywhere. The blacksmith isn't doing much, but sitting watching the magical hammer that's doing its own work, and then simply picking up the armor and putting it there. The baker doesn't seem to be paying any attention to the bread, but once it's cooked, the oven almost seems to dull itself down, as the Aether is no longer needed there to cook the bread. The more you look around, the more you notice that the city is incredibly advanced, but not because of the skill of its people, because of the power of whatever Aether is doing it all for them. And Angharage, you've been chasing, or attempting to chase, after the enforcers, and after your fight. How are you feeling? You cross around a couple of corners, you push through a few more people, you push through some crowds, and then you see it. A ring in the center of the opening in the city, big town square style. Metal posts with metal bars and wires strung from them, with people climbing in between them, they're loose, so you're pushing the metal wire up, stepping inside, and then there's a fight going on in the center. And right now, it's two enforcers fighting each other. You can see them pulling their fist back and throwing a powerful punch forward to be met with another powerful punch, and when they connect, the shockwave almost pushes the crowd back from the sheer impact and power. And as you stand there watching, you feel a gauntleted hand rest on your shoulder, gripping your shoulder much more powerfully than it should do. And looking down at you from above is head enforcer Augustus. Are you sure you want to do this?
Well, I mean, I'm still a little stiff from what you did to me earlier. That's kind of off-putting. I think I'm at a bit of a disadvantage, but I just want to feel it, man.
Your people were fighters, weren't they?
Yeah. Like, everybody.
Your armor. Archaic. Why do you wear it?
Because I'm not allowed to not wear nothing.
Why don't you wear proper armor? Metal, chains, reinforced leather, something that stops damage instead of whatever this anti-fashion statement is.
Because it'll slow me down.
No. Slowing you down is the way you are now. To be sped up would be this. He grabs your shoulder and launches you up through the air, and you land in the ring. He effectively throws you over the metal wires of the outside, and you crumple into the floor and roll several times. Thankfully, the floor itself is covered in sand, so the impact is not too powerful, but you roll. And after having thrown you in, he doesn't push the metal bars out of the way, he jumps up and over in one go, leaping about 4 meters into the air and slams down into the center. As he enters, the two enforcers fighting notice who this is, step back and almost bow their heads. Augustus steps forward to them. No need to stand on ceremony today, boys. I'm just going to show our guests the power of Aether. He pushes them, he motions for them to leave, and they kind of back off slowly. He turns to you. He's got a sword effectively sheathed on his back and several more weapons down the side. He's got the absorbing pads down the side of his forearm, but doesn't bother reaching for any of them. He simply holds his hand out, closes his gauntleted fists into large balls of solid metal, and looks over at you. You're a guest in our city, and I appreciate you returning the weapons. I'll show you the junkyard later, but for now, let me show you what we can do. Hit me.
Okay. I'd like to just mimic his behavior and with a scream to like channel all my power. I just want to land a right hook straight into the center of his chest.
Roll a d20.
8.
You run forward and you punch as hard as you can. Describe the attack.
I run forward and I land a right hook right into the square of his chest.
Pushing with your leg off the floor, the sand kicks up and you hit. You almost punch yourself backwards slightly. You look down and you realize that you have hit one of the metal bars that's effectively holding him into this suit. And Augustus hasn't moved at all. He simply looks down. Go and do it again.
Okay. This time, I'm gonna rage because power of ether versus the power of rage. See what happens. And this time, I would like to go for. You say there's a metal.
There's several metal bars and restraints and leather straps holding him into this suit.
Mm-hmm.
All of them with buckles and various buttons and flaps holding over them.
Okay. So again, pull myself back. This time, I'm gonna really throw my whole weight over it, leap into the air a little bit to kind of like bridge the gap between my height and his. And I want to land a right hook sort of right here to an exposed part of his chest.
Roll a d20.
3.
3.
Oh, I was so good.
You leap up and you punch down. He's entirely aware of what you're doing, doesn't even move. Leaps up and you punch and you hit him directly on the chest. And you can feel that he is still human. So the skin depresses slightly. The bones move a little bit. You almost see a slight wince on his face, but nothing that he notices. And after hitting him, you land back on your feet. And he's still standing there, totally still. You're carrying a weapon with you. Why don't you try that instead? You don't seem very strong without it.
Nah, that's really annoying. So I want to take a step back, unsheath the warhammer from my back, and I just want to go for a leg sweep. So it's going to connect with sort of like the side of his calves.
Roll the d20.
Why?
no.
It's a 1.
No.
You pull off and you go for the leg sweep. You smack and you connect the hammer with the leg. Of course, reinforced by the metal suit itself. Bars of metal, wires, some plates, some gears and some pulleys and even some pistons. And as you hit, you do hear a slight hiss. You even see a bit of aether fizz out from the side of it. And the leg moves maybe an inch. Not out of pain, but out of the fact you've just forced the entire body to slide across the sand slightly. After hitting it and connecting, he looks up at you. That's not bad. That's not bad. I would teach my children to do the same thing. One day, you'll understand why we are the way we are. He steps back, lifts up his back leg, and then roundhouse kicks you on the hips, powerful enough to send you reeling through the air and smashing into the fence around the edge. As you hit the slack metal cables, they almost pull taut because all of the tension is absorbed by you, and you fall to the floor again. As you're on the floor, he walks over to you. This fight doesn't seem very fair. Effectively, it feels like a one-way war. Do you really want to continue this?
Before he even finishes, before he finishes, I want to push myself up and I want to go for another right hook straight into the same place that I did last time, sort of here. Quite obviously not learning my lesson.
Roll a d20.
I'm just so infuriating. You called me a child. 15.
You push yourself off the floor, you jump up, and you land. And he isn't expecting you to do this. So the punch lands. It connects. It doesn't break anything or snap anything, but it makes the skin red. And as soon as you feel your fist connect onto it, the next thing you know is you are being held up in the air by the throat. Up, positioned entirely, holding up. His gauntleted hand reaching out, his face not annoyed, but definitely unexpected. He even glances down and looks at his own chest, and you can see a red knuckle mark on the exposed skin. That was fast. I'll give you that. He launches you across to the other side, and again, you crash into the slack metal ropes and then fall to the floor again. He turns around, looks at you. Right. Is it time for me to get my weapons out, or are you done with this now?
Get your weapons out if you want to.
He steps towards you to fight. He reaches onto his back and he pulls out a metal pole. And as it does, you hear clicks and clanks, parts of the back of his suit connecting to it until it's much, much longer. A sword made of various sizes of metal plates and sheets, with the head of it almost spinning round into a piercing tip, much longer and heavier than your hammer. While this is all happening, how's your adventures going, Yemmara?
Is Athena following me?
Athena is aware of you. Would you like to see if you can spot her?
Yeah.
Yeah, roll a d20.
13.
You're in the crowd. You've explored the city for a bit. You found a couple of shops selling magical items, and you've seen a couple of enforcers even upnod to you because they know that you are obviously powerful with Aether as well, and this city respects that. You notice that Athena is in the crowd, but she's actually sat on top of one of the caravans selling various goods, watching you. Watching other people as well, but occasionally glancing back toward you. She is now aware that you have spotted her as well, and she simply smiles at you.
Damn. Okay. that
Unless you
ruins
want to
my
try and
plan.
be stealthy.
Yeah, I was gonna. The next time she looks back towards the caravan where she's buying, I'm gonna try and turn myself invisible.
Okay, roll
so
a
I disappear
d20.
into the crowd. 11.
11. It works, but the city is Aether itself. The city is magical energy, and every time you walk past an enforcer, one of their anti-magic or anti-Aether shields is almost pulling the invisibility away toward them, so it's difficult for you to stay away from people like this.
Okay. I'm just gonna. What I want to do is try and head actually towards the junkyard.
Okay. Junkyard's the north of the city, and as you head more, it's the crowd quiets down. It's nowhere near as busy. The buildings become less metal, less Aether, less magic, and more wood, more stone, more steel. And you begin to see junk, rubbish, inventions that don't work anymore, maybe even Aether weapons that have been completely drained of all of their power. And one of the strangest sights in the junkyard as you step around the city, you see piles of old technology, piles of old weapons, metals, springs, coils, and then in the distance, up against the city limits itself, against the wall, a massive wooden ship, connected via huge wooden timbers to a balloon above it, with propellers off to the side. And you realize this is a grounded airship. It's old, it's broken, and along one huge side of its hull is a blackened stripe, almost as if a huge amount of flame has been thrown along the side of the ship, burning it and charring it. It's not destroyed, but it is definitely charred along the side. And this airship is huge, and the balloons are still inflated, but it's not hovering. And sitting on the steps of the airship, whittling a small bit of wood, is Old Man Jenkins. He looks up and recognizes you. The magic's back that way in the city. You're in the wrong part.
I don't think I am. I'm actually here for you.
What can I do for you? Did
She-
the enforcers send you?
No.
If they sent you, I don't know anything. I don't want to talk to them.
Well, I don't know anything either. That's why I'm here. You seem to know a lot more about this place than I do.
Aye, not enough.
What's with Athena? She seems creepy.
He almost glances around to make sure that she isn't around. Oh, you've met her, have you?
Unfortunately.
Well, I've got to be honest with you. I would take you and her for the same.
Are you kidding?
You're a noble woman. And you're clearly magically inclined.
Have I not treated you with this respect every time that we've met?
Roll a d20.
16.
Oh, you have. I appreciate that. What can this old man do for you?
Well, I just wanted to know a little bit more about them, really. We've not really been here that long, and I'm honestly a little bit suspicious about. I don't like. She gives me really weird vibes, and I understand this city is powerful. I can feel it within me, but it doesn't feel right.
You're almost ingratiating yourself to Old Man Jenkins as you talk to him about this, and he looks up and smiles at you. You know, she said exactly the same thing.
You used to know her before?
No, not Athena. Helena, my daughter. She said the same thing about the city. It's one of the last things she said, actually. She built this. He looks toward the airship, and you realize that emblazoned onto the side is the name, the Princess Helena. In fact, she built that. And he points to a pile of junk near you. And she built all those things. He points to that. And she built that stupid drink contraption in the tavern that serves 5 people at once. Aye, she was smart, she was.
When you said it was a year ago that you lost her?
5 now.
That's a long time.
Aye, she was a bit too curious, she was.
Was she looking for the heart?
She went in. She never came back out.
How did she get in? What was her plan? Surely she told you.
She had help.
From who?
From an idiot. Old Man Jenkins is willing to talk to you about his daughter, Helena, and he's willing to talk about what she built. Helena was a bright girl. Very, very clever. Loved technology. Distrusted magic. Knew that something was strange with the Aether Heart. And one day tried to go in. You can't go in without help. But someone helped her. She went in. She never came out. And Old Man Jenkins is starting to trust you just a little bit more. Mullac.
Yes.
How's your journeys around the shops going?
It's great. I've been wandering around. I've had a magical sandwich. And I'm just looking out for anything of interest. What sorts of shops and stalls are there?
Everything you can imagine is being sold infused with Aether. You have an archery range that is firing bows with no arrows that simply draw magic out the air and fling it at someone. You've got someone throwing an axe in completely the wrong direction, which then diverts itself down a path and hits the correct target. You've got someone pulling out a sword and shield, a little buckler attempting to stab someone else, and the buckler almost magically brings itself to where it needs to be to block. Anything and everything you can imagine, enhanced with magic. No skill required. You just stand there and use it, and the thing does the thing. But one of the things that is taking your interest is one of the defensive weapons. Athena's in charge of the defense of the city, and while she can't be seen as she is currently effectively trying to follow Yemmara and seeing what's going on, you do notice a man sat on a chair which is itself connected to almost a cone of metal pointing into the sky, with magic twirling around it as it goes. He looks over to you. This is one of the new models, this is. Much, much, much more powerful than last year's one.
What does it actually do?
Oh, watch! He grabs some controls in front of him, turns around, lowers his chair, points this cone up into the sky, presses some buttons. A magical orb congeals on the front and then just blasts off into the sky. Anything in the sky that should be? Oh, it isn't anymore.
What actually is in the sky that you wouldn't want in the sky?
Right now, absolutely nothing. But the sky's ours. You understand that? The Sentinel makes sure of that. The large ship's still flying around, hovering. Yeah, 5 years ago that thing launched. Beat out the other thing by quite a substantial margin.
What is the other thing that it beat out?
Oh, that stupid wooden airship the old man built.
The old man?
Oh, Old Man Jenkins, you've not met him yet.
I think I know who you're on about.
Goes into the bar, gets drunk, drinks from the rotten cup.
Yeah, I briefly met him.
Yeah, hates Aether. Old man, crotchety old guy. Ignore him. Crazy stories.
Why did this one beat out the other one?
Oh, and why did the Sentinel beat out whatever he made, the Princess Helena thingy?
Yeah.
Well, Sentinel's got weapons. Princess Helena was still requiring on cannons. Still used gunpowder, for God's sake.
But it didn't have to recharge, did it?
Well, you fly a wooden ship into the sky, and you get blasted with solid Aether from our beautiful Sentinel. You're going to be grounded for quite some time. I don't know if that ship will ever fly again.
May do one day.
If you go and have a look at that pile of junk to the north, I can guarantee you the next time that ship flies will be the last. We will shoot it out of the sky. The Sentinel will take it down. The skies are ours. Jenkins had his chance and his invention failed. He can sit in his junkyard and he can stay. Now, if you don't mind, I've got to go back to watching the skies.
Okay.
The guard simply turns and continues to focus up. While this is happening, Angharage, you have been battered and bruised and thrown around the place, and you have roundly lost a fight to Augustus.
Yeah.
While holding you from the neck, he puts you down. Well, it's been fun, but I have duties. I need to go and check on the state of the heart. I will hopefully see you later, or maybe tomorrow, for the festivities. Until then, enjoy our city. Marvel at the power of Aether.
Hold up my hand.
He holds out his hand to go and shake yours.
Thank you.
He doesn't grip it as tight this time, as he almost respects the fact that you were able to punch him twice in the same place. And it didn't hurt, but it marked.
Till next time.
Let's go of your hand, turns around, leaps up and over the chain fence, and then heads off.
Kind of look down on my knees still. I'm like,
Yeah, you're in a lot of pain still. You're in a hell of a lot of pain still.
just kind of like keeping it up, now he's gone.
You realize that while this is happening, a couple of the enforcers had been watching this fight, including Timothy, the disfigured, disformed, melted into the suit enforcer, who's simply staring over at you. He looks around to make sure no one else is watching, and then almost waves back.
Can I look on the floor? So it's sand, right?
Yes.
Are there any stones
There are a couple of pebbles.
or any sticks?
Roll a d20.
4.
Most of the sticks have been smashed into small bits by the constant fights happening in this arena, from people both in and out of enforcer armor.
Stones?
There's little pebbles.
Any particular kind of pebbles?
What are you after?
I want to find a nice smooth pebble that's really soft.
Okay.
Do I find one?
You do manage to pick one up from the floor, yes.
Great.
What are you going to do with that?
I'm gonna, pick it up and then just look at Timothy. Is he still there?
He's almost, because his skin is melted and his face droops and his arms are almost pushed in and intertwining, that you can't tell where the skin ends and the wires and metal of the suit itself begins. If this guy ever got out of the suit, he would die. He is pretty much ingrained into this suit now. He's been part of it. But he's still got enough humanity to recognize kind of that you've picked something up, and he's looking at you, and you can just about see the pupils of his eyes through the folds of skin.
I want to go over to him and just look at him in the eye and just say, stay there a second. Let me show you something.
Okay, he stays still.
And then I want to put the pebble against a part of his skin, his cheek, so he can feel the soft pebble, just kind of because he's probably in the suit and he's probably burnt and stuff, so he's not felt something really soft in a long time. So I kind of just want to, and it's cold, so it'll be nice.
As you do that, he almost closes his eyes and starts to, you can't tell if he's smiling or not, but the lips definitely move up slightly from where they were, but you can't, his mouth effectively is melted together. But you can see that the muscles in his face react to something. And after that, he almost opens his eyes, steps away from you, and then turns around and continues doing his guard duties.
Okay. Well, let me give him the pebble.
He does hold his hand backwards.
Okay. Then I wait, before he leaves, can I grab his shoulder?
Yep.
And just kind of I'll run my hand down his arm and then just kind of open his hand and just put it in.
He takes the pebble and puts it inside a small metal box, which is part of the suit itself, and then seals it together, and then goes back to watching. Yemmara, how are you doing? Still talking to Old Man Jenkins?
Yeah, I've sat down with him at this point.
We've had some more conversations.
Having a
Any
cup
more
of tea.
questions about him or Helena or the ship?
Yeah, so she built this ship.
Oh, she was smart, she was. Technologically minded. Never worried about magic too much, though. Never put too much faith in Aether, she didn't. She was always focused on how things worked. How you could use levers and pulleys and physics. Gunpowder, that was one of her favorites. But me and her, we built this ship together over years. Years and years and years.
How old was she?
Oh, last time I saw her 5 years ago, she'd have been 21, 22. Prime of her life. Young, ready, whole world ahead of her, but too curious. That's what she was. Far too curious. She just had to know what's in the heart.
It is
Told her, don't go.
suspicious, but so, what did you build the ship for?
It was a competition 5 years ago.
Oh,
They'd mastered Aether by that point, and we had weapons, and we had defenses, but we didn't have anything to explore. Everything was about killing and destroying and breaking things. So I thought, what about flying and exploring around? And Helena agreed. So we built the ship over years and years and years, and then a competition came and we entered it. We flew it up into the sky. That was beautiful. We put a cannon or two on it because she wanted a cannon or two because it looked like the old pirate ships of stories she used to read, but I don't know if they were ever fired. But they launched the Sentinel in the same year. That was the Enforcer's entry to controlling the skies. And they did put weapons on. And on the first flight, they wanted to show off their gun. And they sent a solid stream of Aether. And it scorched the side of the ship. And we had to land. We landed here. And it was then that her obsession with the heart began, and I never wanted to fly the ship again.
it's understandable. Did she used to work with the Aether?
No, she was never bothered about it. She was sure that whatever it was wasn't natural. They say it's oil and coal and power and something, but she knew physics. She knew that whatever it was couldn't do that. Something down there they're not telling us about.
I think you're right. I'm sorry about what happened to your daughter.
I just want to know. I don't expect to get her back, but I just want to know what happened to her. Closure. But no one's stupid enough to go into the heart. Even if you could find someone stupid or brave enough, you'd have to convince someone to let you in.
I was going to come back to that. How did she got help to get in from an enforcer?
Yeah.
Are there generally enforcers? I don't want to say on your side, but
Not after what they did to him.
Timothy.
They weren't together in a romantic sense, but they were friends. She liked him and he liked her. And she wanted to go and have a look in the heart. And he let her in. And Augustus found out that he let her in. He used to be a good-looking chap, you know. And then he poured Aether all over him. And he melted him into that soup. And I've already told you far too much. Jenkins is remembering the memories of Helena. Mullac, how's it going?
It's going great. I'm just having a little roam through the streets, heading down towards the scrapyard to meet up with Yemmara. So I want to take a look at this ship.
In fact, while you were heading to the streets, Angharage, you have effectively been massively beaten up at this point, but are you also willing to head toward the junkyard? Because you know that was where Yemmara was heading down to. In fact, you do even see Mullac walking through at the same time.
The hell's happened to you? How come every time I leave you for like 20 minutes, you come back more beaten up than I last saw you?
Well, so like he said like I couldn't beat him, right? So like I
Right.
tried, and then he like pulled out his sword, and then he strangled me, which
Oh.
to be honest was like, but yeah. And anyways, I lost.
I see.
Yeah, my shoulders. Can you just like it's? Can you pop it
Would
in
you
a
want
little
to
bit? Yeah, just
snap it back
oh.
in place?
Yep. There we go. That's better. Okay. Where's Yemmara?
I believe she was going down to the junkyard.
All right.
So that's where I'm headed.
Okay, I'll go with you.
You head to the junkyard and meet up together. When you finally see the other two, you fill them in on everything you've been told. About Old Man Jenkins, about his daughter Helena, about the fact they built this airship together. And then several years ago it was launched against the Sentinel, and Sentinel unfortunately won in the air superiority battle. It's been grounded ever since. Jenkins has gone inside as it's getting quite late and quite cold. Although just as he heads into the airship and before he closes the door, he's effectively now living in the hull of it. He does turn around and look at you. I don't wish you any ill will, but I would ask kindly that you don't spend the night around here. Unwanted attention tends to attract the enforcers, and I'd really rather they don't be here.
It's okay. We'll go back to the end, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I take something from the floor?
Are you asking that in character, just a hint?
Yeah.
It's mostly junk.
Yeah, but there's like a nice like thing here. Can I have that?
What is it?
I don't know. It looks like and it's like a little looks like a stone, but it's got like 2 prongs. And it kind of looks like a bunny.
Oh, it's something she would have made for some kind of invention or equipment somewhere. Yeah, it's all junk anyway. They're going to destroy all this in a few days' time.
Thanks. It's cute.
I'm going to miss this ship. I'm going to miss this ship a lot.
When are they planning to destroy everything?
2 or 3 days' time. It's going to be the end of the extravaganza this year. All the old stuff, all the junk,
Hey, with the old in
the-
with the new.
all the technology that doesn't need Aether is all going to be thrown into a pile here, and they're going to get the Sentinel, and they're going to blow it up, and they're going to burn it and melt it down and remake it. I enjoyed living in this ship. Would have been nice to fly it again. Oh well. He closes the door and bids you good night.
Back to the inn.
Back to the inn.
I could do with a drink after that.
While we're traveling back to the inn,
Mhm.
can we have like an open discussion to talk about? So like you said that Elena made the ship, right?
Yeah. So
Helena.
she made Helena made everything. Well, a lot of stuff. She was really clever, actually, by the sounds of it. It's a
Huh.
shame we couldn't meet her. But she disappeared.
5 years ago
Yeah. It's a bit suspicious, don't you think?
when the
Right. Do you remember Timothy, right?
Yeah. Big ugly
yeah,
guy.
yeah. I gave him a rock.
You gave him a rock.
Yeah, it was really soft. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. it was nice.
Did he enjoy it more than you did?
I don't know. I think we kind of connected there for a second. There was he looked at me in the eyes, right? And then like he just kind of like, you know when someone gives you that look. I think he likes me.
Well, good, because we might need him.
Why?
Helena went to the hearth. And she went to go look at the heart, and
But they said we're not allowed in the heart.
no, exactly.
How did you
Timothy
get in
let
there?
her in,
Oh.
and that's why he is the way he is now.
Is that why the bandits didn't want to come back? Because they were going to do that to him?
Oh, well, actually, now that makes a lot of sense.
Ah.
Oh my gosh. So Augustus and the stuff, they're horrible. Why would you do that to someone?
I don't know, but they can't hear us talking about it. We mustn't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did Jenkins tell you why the ship isn't flying? Did he say anything about what's wrong with it?
No, but it had a massive gash on the side of it, so I assumed that it's just broken.
Sprung an air leak.
Well, his daughter's not here anymore to help fix it, so
I see.
I don't think he can do it by himself, and he probably wouldn't want to, even if he could.
The ship is airworthy and will fly. Unfortunately, as soon as it flies, it will likely be shot down by the air defenses that you've seen or the Sentinel itself.
Where have you been? What did you find out?
I was looking at the air defense system.
There's an air defense system?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, that's probably why he doesn't want to fly.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was a can't fly or don't want to fly situation.
Well, I wouldn't want me in the air if there's that air defense system.
Well, no, that does make sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't want to go up against it.
What if we get rid of the air defense system, get Jenkins to fly the thing one last time before the festival? Happy days. Might not have his daughter back, but at least he'd be able to fly one last time. Then we could go into the ether while everyone else is concerned about the flying
Are
thing.
you suggesting that we quite literally help him move house?
What if he gets shot down, though?
While discussing this and having the conversations, you're walking back through the streets. They are slowly starting to empty of people. People going into various inns and taverns and clubs and pubs around the side. People going into shops and some people going back to their homes. And as you walk past one of the side streets, you hear a, hey, it's you guys. It's you guys, isn't it? You look over and you see a rather chirpy-looking young chap in an enforcer's mechanical suit. It's you three.
Yes, we are the three.
Oh, Augustus sent me to find you. Over here.
Oh, here we go again.
He heads back into the kind of alleyway behind some of the shops.
I follow.
Yeah,
follow.
I bound towards them, completely forgetting what we were talking about and how offenses are bad. But
Is anyone watching us do this?
No.
Okay, then yeah, I'll just follow.
You walk together, and the man in the suit turns around. Excellent. Right. You went to the junkyard, didn't you? Spoke to Old Man Jenkins.
yes.
There's a bit of a fee for going to the junkyard, unfortunately. It's all your gold.
Not this again.
Oh, no. Much worse than whatever you've been through before.
Why?
All of your gold right now.
But you're an enforcer. What exactly
He
are you
steps forward,
enforcing?
roll a d20.
Why is it with me? 19.
He steps forward, raises his arm, and goes to effectively elbow you with one of the repulsion bars that's on it. And you notice that he's about to do this, and you know what those things do. So what did you do to react?
I'm going to put a shield up so it just bounces off of that.
Both of them clash together. He absorbs the shield and pushes it back toward you. You absorb it and push it back toward him. And there's almost like this magical push of force. He's slowly winning. He's not as powerful as the other enforcers you've seen. This is a younger kid in a mechanical suit using it to effectively extort money from you. And he's pushing away. But you realize this guy is effectively trying to mug you while using his power. Roll a d20 for initiative.
4.
8.
1.
You are engaged in this battle and unfortunately have to focus all of your energy on it. Mullac, you realize that this guy is just trying to mug you. He may be an enforcer, and not every enforcer is evil, but some of them are definitely corrupt.
Yeah. As he's going for the elbow, I'm going to take my rapier out and I'm going to try and get in between the wires on the elbow and like aim for the mechanical looking bit and just stab in.
Roll a d20.
17.
You pull out the rapier and thrust straight forward, and it's accurate, and it manages to avoid most of the metal plates and stab straight in. And you almost hear a wince of pain as the guy looks down and realizes that you've managed to breach the metal defenses, go through the wires and straight into his arm. And he almost winces as he's doing it. And as he does, he extends his arm and snaps the tip of the rapier off. It's still embedded in his flesh, but the extending of the arm and the exoskeleton power snaps the metal blade itself as he looks over at you in anger. He's still having to force the magical energy back towards your shield, and his arm is now almost kind of starting to jerk because of the pain into it, and the metal suit is enhancing all of the small shaking that he's doing. And Angharage, what are you doing?
The little the little rabbit gadget that I've got, it has a little bit of blue in it. So I'm like, blue. Before, when we were fighting, the blue was on his legs. I hit the blue with my weapon. A little thing come out. So I think blue on blue, and I just want to grab and basically use it as like a big knuckle duster.
You almost think the aether energy that's contained in whatever this is might be important.
Yeah, it might talk to it somehow.
Okay.
And
Roll the d20.
yeah. 14.
You describe the punch.
Okay, so while he's engaged with his arm and like this, I want to go for his lower left leg, and I kind of want to like dip down and just like do a right hook into the back of his leg.
And the punch is perfect, and you've got this little device kind of between your knuckles, and as it connects into it, a small puff of aether from what you are holding matches a small puff from him, and you almost see that the mechanical structure shut down temporarily and then almost explode back up and then down and then in, and you can see some of the cogs twisting faster than they should do, and some of the pistons punching up and down faster than they should do, and his leg almost buckles to the floor as he does it. Unfortunately, he's able to kind of stand back up onto it relatively quickly. He turns to you, notices what you're doing, raises his leg up and kicks you squarely in the chest, sending you again barreling back over yourself. He turns to you, Yemmara, and you are still battling for dominance over this magical power of the shield. What are you doing?
Okay, are they still like here? So she got sent off. Did she get sent off behind me?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna we need to get out of this alleyway, and I'm gonna just like keep holding it and focus my energy on continue to hold it and just back out of the alleyway as much as we can, and just like try and guide them backwards, and just put all of my force into keeping this shield up.
Roll a d20.
7.
You are backing out of the alleyway slowly. Unfortunately, as he's holding the shield, his other arm, which is still kind of jerking because it's got the tip of the rapier stuck into it, swings around and grabs you on the shoulder and almost steps backward, dragging you back into the alley to make sure you can't be seen by anyone else on the actual street. And as he's doing all of this, he suddenly stops. His face begins to contort. All of the suit begins to start to randomly gesticulate, and then everything just drops down and stops, and you see his eyes close as he slumps sideways to the floor. And standing behind him is Old Man Jenkins with a strange metal stick with 2 prongs pointing out the end and a trigger button on the side. He looks up at you. Right, you aren't going to survive the day. Come with me. He turns around and walks back toward the junkyard.
Are we just going to leave that? We don't have to move him anywhere?
He won't tell anyone. Besides, you're going to be out of the city within a day or 2.
I think I want to. Yeah,
Yeah,
ASAP.
no, I'm happy with
I don't
that.
like it here.
Oh.
Old Man Jenkins heads back toward the junkyard and motions for all of you to follow him.
We all follow.
Yes.
Arriving back at the junkyard, he motions all of you to head into the grounded airship, the Princess Helena. He opens the door and nods you all in. Enforcers won't find you in here at least for a day.
I check, make sure there's nobody watching us.
Roll a d20.
4.
I also check.
Roll a d20.
2.
I conveniently also 16.
Yay! With an average of.
Mullac is aware of only one person in the distance behind a pile of junk watching you. An enforcer who is melted into his suit.
Oh dear.
Timothy is watching you go into the ship. Timothy sees Old Man Jenkins, and Old Man Jenkins sees Timothy, and they almost nod to each other. You head into the airship hull. Old Man Jenkins closes the door behind you. He turns and looks at you. You're not from round here. I appreciate that. And I'm about to lose everything I have in 2 days. And I've got nothing to give you. But I want to know what happened to Helena. I can get you into the heart once.
Okay.
Find out what happened to her, and then tell me. And I can die happy. But after that, you've got to get out the city.
That sounds like a fair request to me. I'd want to know as well. Into the place we're not meant to be going into?
I love that. Great.
It'll be fun.
How are we going to get out?
It'll be fun.
Old Man Jenkins unrolls from a scroll rack behind him a large blueprint of the city. In the center, the Aether Heart. He points to a small door behind it. This looks like stone. It looks like metal, it looks like rock. But it's a back entrance. It'll only work at certain times of day when they go and check. Now, if we get some sleep, tomorrow morning, early, changing of the Enforcer Guard, I can get you a 5-minute window to get in. I don't know what you'll find in there, but it's not what they're telling you.
Yeah, I figured it's not going to be what they told us because it doesn't make too much sense.
We just have to not get caught.
Yeah. You up for some sneaking?
I want to go. It sounds fun.
It's not a road trip rage.
Look, if I can do anything to try and beat Augustus, I'm happy. Find some ether, put it in my suit. Well, my lacquer suit.
We can rub it on you if you want.
No, I've seen what happens when you rub it on people. Not good things.
You get,
No, good
you get a
things.
Timothy.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll help. We'll help. We'll go in.
The party agree to help Old Man Jenkins, a crotchety old guy who hates magic, who hates Aether, who lost his daughter Helena several years ago to whatever's inside the Aether Heart of Albion. Augustus, the head enforcer, and Athena, head of defense, will clearly not like you doing this. But Timothy, one of the sympathetic enforcers, helped Helena do this several years ago and was never seen again, and Timothy was punished badly for it. But what will you find, and how will you get into the heart? Find out in the next episode.
Dun, dun, dun.